Folks, I'm once again in my car. On my last video, I was just getting thousands of comments, so much support. Thanks, guys. And one comment that kept coming up, one question was, how do I build a solid sense of happiness and self-worth that doesn't collapse in the absence of strong relationships? Just a phenomenal question, and that's what we're going to be getting into today. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, I just want to say, if your self-worth and self-esteem is susceptible to rising and falling based on feeling liked, feeling chosen, feeling needed, having a role in a relationship, I just want to say that's very normal behavior. It's common for us as children to develop our opinions of ourselves based on others' reactions to us. But as we get older and become adults, that's just not a great framework. You can't control how people feel about you. People are inconsistent, dealing with their own stuff. Relationships are fluid, so people move, people change, drift, pass away even, yada yada. So that begs the question, if you're the type whose happiness largely depends on your relationships and relationships are fluid, then is your happiness a moving target? Do you need to find happiness completely internally then? That brings us here, present day, with me, at the right age of 27 in my car, on a Saturday, revisiting this topic, searching for ways to find happiness and joy in a sustainable way that doesn't depend on external factors. If you've done even the slightest amount of research on happiness, you've probably stumbled upon the Harvard Study of Adult Development, otherwise known as the Harvard Happiness Study. The study's key finding is that strong, supportive relationships are the most important factor in living a happy, healthy, long life. After reading this and seeing this study pop up virtually everywhere I turn, I put strong relationships on a pedestal. I'm thinking, finally, I found the answer, the validation I've been looking for all along. Just make it your biggest priority to connect with as many people as possible and maximize your chances of finding your best friends, your partner, your community. You've reached the ultimate destination, and that investment of time and energy will pay off for the rest of your life. That's what life's all about, connecting with others and finding your lifelong companions, your tribe, your confidants, your people to do life with. I'm thinking the data literally shows this is how we find our way out of misery and unhappiness. Thank you, Harvard, for the golden nugget. But not surprisingly, having strong relationships as the core pillar holding up your happiness and well-being makes you pretty vulnerable because all your eggs are in that one basket. It's been really easy for me to fall into this trap historically because I'm really like all or nothing, and once I find a solution that works, I tend to go all in. It's like I put my blinders on and just pursue that one solution. For instance, when I find a meal I like, I just meal prep that for months with little to no change. When I have a workout that works, I just stick to that routine. When I find a few folks I really jive with, they get most of my time. I'm someone who has always struggled with finding balance in like virtually every part of my life. In my mind, if something works and it makes me happy, I'm just gonna spam it. I'm just gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna do that a whole lot. I'm gonna listen to that song 50 times in one day and ruin it. I've yet to learn, and I promise you I'll do it again. For those curious, I'll put the songs I'm listening to currently down below. In my experience, sometimes it feels like I'm roaming around searching for anchors to help me feel safe, secure, and happy. I found myself bouncing between projects, jobs, cities, people, hobbies, chasing a life raft that will inevitably deflate. It's like I'm in the ocean frantically swimming around searching for a raft that I can grab onto to like finally relax. Only for that life raft to pop, and I'm back in the ocean frantically swimming around searching for the next raft that I can grab onto to give me some breathing room and make me feel safe and comfortable again. It's like I'm constantly searching for that stability, and I won't find that externally. Hardship and adversity is bound to hit us at any time, and hopefully we have people in our corner that can help us through that, but that's not always the case depending on which stage of life you're in. So how do we find that comfort we're looking for? First, we need to reframe the analogy I was talking about in the ocean. Just maybe, life isn't about finding a permanent raft, but rather becoming a strong swimmer. You can still use rafts, like relationships, jobs, hobbies, but you don't depend on them to keep you afloat. You find security not in permanence, but in trusting your ability to adapt, to love again, to rebuild, to find meaning no matter what changes. So let go of the idea of arriving. Security isn't a destination, it's a relationship with change. All right, so before we get into some solutions, let's sum that up. We're social creatures, and strong relationships is still a critical piece to the happiness puzzle, but happiness can't be outsourced entirely to relationships. But it's also not entirely internal. Therefore, we must find a hybrid model of happiness. First and foremost, we need to build up our internal anchors, so self-esteem, values, routines, growth. Then we can leverage our external happiness amplifiers, love, friendships, family, experiences with others, to round us out. So the bulk of this, the meat and potatoes of it all, is building these internal anchors, and this is what I think. All right, so my camera fully overheated because it's a greenhouse in my car, but we're back. Let's round this video out. Get into the solutions. Step 1, you need to redefine your worth and create an internal scorecard. So it's not about how liked you are, it's about how you show up consistently. Ask yourself, what qualities do I admire in others that I would like to emulate? And what do I want to respect about myself, regardless of what other people think? For example, if I value kindness, authenticity, curiosity, introspection, goofiness, whatever, then I base my self-worth based on how aligned I am to these values, not how other people react to them. Step 2, keep promises to yourself. If you constantly say, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, and then you bail, you're telling your body, like, can't trust myself, can't count on myself. I admittedly do this a lot, and I think it's because I have too many goals, I overextend myself, and also sometimes it's hard to muster up the willpower to do things you don't want to do. Like, how many times have I said I was going to start a meditation practice daily and then it stopped after 4 days? So just start small. Be like, I'm going to go on a 5-minute walk every morning. I'm going to write one thing in my gratitude journal every day. As long as you follow through, your self-respect will grow. Step 3, arguably one of the most important ones, learn to be alone comfortably. Now, let me just say, everybody loves their alone time. Even the most extroverted people look forward to it. But the difference between solitude being a happy, fulfilling, peaceful time versus a depressing one is whether or not you want to be alone in that moment. So unwanted aloneness is the problem we're talking about. When you don't want to be alone, it can feel like rejection, emptiness, and you may feel forgotten or disconnected. On the flip side, it's nice when someone invites you to something and you say no. It almost can feel equally as good as going sometimes, depending on your mood. Just knowing people thought of you and you have the choice. So to deal with the feelings that arise out of unwanted aloneness, I would say, first, acknowledge the hurt without judgment. So drop the shame or frustration around it. Like, you're not weak or needy. You're just a social person wired for connection, and it just makes sense that you feel that way. Second, understand the deeper craving behind those feelings. Usually it's not exclusively about the company, but more so about feeling heard, seen, understood, chosen. So figure out how you can give yourself those feelings in some capacity. So for me, it's turning that energy into something that makes me feel important and seen, which can be reflecting and then maybe creating a video out of it, or working on projects and apps that I find fun and interesting, but I know would be beneficial to other people too, etc., etc. Step 4, stretch your comfort zone. Do things that challenge you but don't paralyze you. Every time you survive discomfort, you're proving to yourself that you can do hard things, and then your threshold for what is uncomfortable becomes higher. So some things you can do are smile at every stranger you pass by, or give someone a genuine compliment. Try something alone, like going to a concert, restaurant, coffee shop. Just the other day, I was walking down the street and I saw this new business open up, and I was like, I've never seen this before, and I kind of want to ask about it, but I felt really apprehensive. I was like, it's kind of weird. I'm just not in a headspace. I'm kind of got some brain fog. I'm just tired. I don't really feel like doing it. But after literally thinking about it for 3 to 5 minutes, just kind of standing out there should I say something? I just walked in and struck up a conversation with the business owner, and ended up having a 20-30 minute conversation about their motivations for opening the business, how it's going, hopes and dreams, all that sort of stuff. So it was the highlight of my day, and I was so close to not doing it. Step 5, forgive yourself often and fast. People with true self-esteem don't avoid failure. They just repair and recover quickly. Just know that failure is cool because you're learning, you're growing, and you're fine-tuning the models in your head on how to succeed in certain things. So you're only becoming more knowledgeable the more times you stick your neck out and make yourself vulnerable to failure. So you got to allow self-love and self-critique to coexist. Confidence is not built by being perfect all the time. It's believing in your ability to do hard things, built by continuously extending yourself outside your comfort zone despite failing and suffering because of it. So to recap, it's all about knowing your values and living in alignment with them, building self-respect and trust by doing the things you'll say you'll do, enjoying solitude, pushing yourself to new limits, and being kind to yourself when you fail. After getting better at these, it'll be a lot easier to emotionally regulate internally as opposed to relying on external sources of emotional regulators like people. So you remove yourself from the loop of experiencing some emotional trigger, seeking external validation, experiencing temporary relief, deepening the dependency cycle. Now, when it comes to leveraging your external happiness amplifiers to create the whole happiness picture, you should, 1, leverage your strong relationships. So it's fine and encouraged to seek comfort in others as long as it's not your knee-jerk reaction to go to your friend or your parents whenever something bad happens to you. It should be more of a plan B or plan C sort of thing. So when you don't immediately reach to somebody to make you feel better, it strengthens that emotional muscle and ironically makes your future relationship stronger. 2, leverage tiny relationships. Chatting with your checkout clerk at Trader Joe's, smiling at strangers, giving people compliments. These are all very small, tiny, spontaneous gestures that can just make you feel so connected and grounded in the world. Just the other weekend, there was some small, wholesome moment that just made my night. And basically, I went out to dinner and I went to the bathroom and this guy was like, dude, that's a sweet shirt. And I looked at him and I was like, dude, you have a sweet shirt. Like, and we just looked at each other and paused. He's paused for like 3 to 4 seconds, and he was like, he put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, man, I really needed that. And I was like, man, that makes two of us. Like, God forbid the fellas compliment each other in the bathroom. Like, we need more of that, you know? We hugged each other in the bathroom, and I said, it's going to be a great night. And it ended up being a really fun night, hopefully for the both of us. But my night couldn't have gone better, and I want to attribute it to that man. And I don't remember his name, but I hope he sees this. 3, keep a repository of notes, texts, nice things people have said to you that just remind you of your worth, because sometimes when you're going through it, it's nice to just be able to refer to something and be like, oh, I am the man. I forgot, you know, like just that's nice. So, folks, if your worth is tied to others' approvals or presence, then yes, your confidence will be fragile. But when your worth is anchored in your character, your values, and your growth, then it becomes steady. So nothing I've said today is new information or anything groundbreaking. I think a lot of us deal with thoughts like these from time to time, and I hope that I was able to just frame it in a way that may have resonated with you. And hopefully I emphasize the importance of relationships and internal peace coexisting to create a happier you. If you made it this far, appreciate you a lot. If you like this and you had a good time, you know, maybe leave a like, comment, maybe subscribe if you're feeling crazy. If you hated it, leave a hurtful comment down below. I won't lose sleep over it or anything like that. As always, appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's cut that, like, for sure.